Hello and welcome to the BTF podcast. That is the Back to Football podcast, the number one podcast for people who probably should talk about something other than football. Now, you are probably listening to this on Spotify or iTunes, but you may also be on YouTube, or perhaps you're even picking up a clip of this on TikTok. Who knows? And I think there I just about remembered the intro because we haven't done a show for so long that I wasn't sure what the tagline for the show necessarily was anymore. I've got a trio in the virtual studio today. I am one of said trio. I'm also joined by Mr. John Aldinho repping a yellow Chelsea shirt, probably circa 99 or something like that. Or
I think so.
What's the Autoglass? Yeah, Autoglass repair.
Old school.
Autoglass
Yeah,
replace. How are you doing over there in the US of A?
Pretty good. So it's funny, in America, the tagline, the Autoglass is slightly different, but it's the same theme, same logo. So it's safe line repair, safe line replace. So same logo, same catchphrase, same everything. It's weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, that's like what's the delivery company that Snoop Dogg does the advert for?
Just Eat.
Just Eat. Yeah, that's called something different in Australia. It's called
It's a mad name as well.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look it up. Menu Log or something like that. And it's called Menu Log, and it has Snoop Dogg still sings a song about it, but it's obviously completely different to the did somebody say just eat? It's like, did somebody just say Menu Log? Which doesn't work quite as well, and it's scandalous really that they would change branding like that. But I guess if a company's already been set up, you can't change it. And chances are probably whoever the parent company of Just Eat is, they probably just bought Menu Log and Just Eat, and then they just brand them to be the same. But yeah, anyway, we will introduce our third member of the podcast. Better late than never. We have Mr. Greg Hollands. Greg TMR.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, thank you for having me. I've just noticed this shirt is really creased. I do apologise for that.
It's all right.
I've had to change shirts about 3 times. It's so hot in London at the moment. It's nice, but it's hot.
It's like 29 degrees tomorrow. It's 28 degrees today.
Yeah.
We are having very much an Indian summer. And I don't know whether either of you are. I know, Greg, you're not really too much of a cricket fan, but Dino, you follow cricket at all? No. So obviously England are playing India at the moment. I to be honest, don't really follow cricket all that much, but England just lost, I think, the 4th test to India today at the Oval, which is not too far from Greg and I here in London. But do you know what? I quite like. Because I'm not too much of a cricket fan, so I'm not, if England lose at cricket, I don't really care either way. And I actually really like seeing India beat England in cricket. I think just after, in India's medal tally at the Olympics and stuff like that, where they're way down the table in terms of gold, it's amazing to then see an Indian team turn up and blitz what's a very, very good England team as well. So, I don't think we see India competing at the top level in enough sports, and their cricket team is something else at the moment. So, very much enjoy seeing an underdog or an underappreciated nation, I think, killing it on the global stage is very cool to see. But yeah, I have a game to play with you guys. I don't know. I've seen this going around on TikTok quite a lot. So basically, you get it's like, have you ever played the Post-it game where you stick a Post-it note on your forehead and it's got a name on it? Mm-hmm. So it's basically that, but you have to get it within 30 seconds, and it's going to be sport related.
Okay.
So what I'll do is. We'll go with Greg first, and Dino, if you check your phone, and Greg, don't check your phone.
Okay.
I will send you a name, and then Greg's gonna have.
And is it only yes or no?
Yeah, it's only yes or no, and I think we're gonna give you 40 seconds to get it. So
Okay.
Yeah, don't check your phone, Greg, or your Apple Watch, because the name is going to be on there.
Okay.
And Dino, have you seen the name now? Yeah.
No.
Can you see it on your phone? Maybe. Yes. No.
Warming up. I'm gonna smash this. I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
Says I'm typing. All right. It's in the. I just created a group chat. It's in a group chat one.
And this is any sport, is it? Any sportsman or woman? Throughout history. Okay, interesting.
All right, Dino, I'm going to send it directly to you then.
Okay.
All right. I mean, it's not too essential for Dino to know. For some reason, it's not wanting to send through.
Got it.
Oh, I've just seen it come up on my WhatsApp.
Sorry, I had WhatsApp. All right, Dino, let's just
someone else.
I'll do it, and and all right. So it's not going to be that one, and I won't tell you, Greg, who it is. And
I'll close WhatsApp wherever I've closed it all down.
The one thing you needed to do.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I won't tell. Actually, I can message it directly to Dino. It doesn't matter about that.
Okay.
So
you're doing that via Zoom, are you?
No, I'll send it to him on WhatsApp.
Okay.
There we go. So it's through on WhatsApp to you, Dino.
Okay.
Right.
Straight to you.
Okay. Who's timing?
And I've got a timer on my phone. All right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Is it a man?
Yes.
Is it a footballer?
No.
Is it a tennis player?
No.
Is the sport played in the Olympics?
Yes.
Fucking narrows it down. British?
Yes.
Over 30?
Yes.
Is it athletics?
No.
Swimmer?
No.
Jesus, man. Cricket?
No.
Right, okay. So is he currently playing his sport?
No.
So retired.
Right, that's time. I'll give you a little bit more time if you want to try and get to the bottom of this one. Yeah, he's retired.
Okay, is the sport played with a ball?
No.
Okay, not with a ball, not an athlete, not athletics, not swimmer. Rowing?
No.
Oh man, this is difficult. I can't really categorize all the sports. Okay, right. So is it a martial art? Is it a combat sport?
Yes, it's a combat sport.
Okay, boxing?
Yes.
Anthony Joshua?
No.
Okay.
He's
retired.
Yeah.
Okay, but not British.
British, yeah, he said, yeah.
British. Oh, is it British? Okay. Retired boxers.
Yeah, I think you should know him. He wasn't ideally meant for you. You were meant to have Sadio Mane.
Okay,
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who it is because I haven't got the message.
Oh, so Dino, you can join in at this point then.
Yeah, Dino, hit with a few questions. We'll tag team this.
Is it Lennox Lewis?
Yeah, it's Lennox Lewis, yeah.
Okay. Oh, right, okay.
That's the only other person I can think of. That's the only other person I can think of who's retired and Greg might know.
We can do one for Dino now.
Okay.
And then you two can think of one for me. I will send you, Greg, the name of someone and tell me when you get this. For some reason, WhatsApp's being a bit
received.
Slow. All right, you got that. Okay, so let me get the 40 seconds up on the clock. I think if someone gets one of these within 40 seconds, it'd be pretty good because that time went so quickly.
Yeah.
So Dino, 3, 2, 1, go.
Am I a male?
Yes.
Do I play football?
Yes.
Premiership?
Yes.
Top 4 team? Like classic top 4?
Oh, classic top 4 maybe.
What does that mean? You're gonna have to be specific.
United?
No.
Chelsea?
No.
Liverpool?
No.
Arsenal?
Yes.
Arsenal striker?
No.
Defender?
Yes.
Tony Adams? Sol Campbell?
No.
Centre back?
No.
Fullback?
Yep.
Laurent?
Time. You're close. No, not Lorraine.
A few decades off, I think.
Yeah, come modern, like currently playing.
Modern. Oh, Bellerin.
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets it.
I was way back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know why you decided on old school. Like you never. All right, fair play. All right, so you kind of you got there just about, but
Okay.
not within the time. So yeah, so now we need Greg and Dino. You need to text.
Okay, I
Sort
got
one
one
out between you,
Okay.
and then you.
Oh yeah. Yep. Go with that one, Dino.
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Do you want me
Yeah,
to
yeah.
do
Okay,
it?
cool.
Do you want me to do a timer?
I'll do the timer.
All
Dino,
right.
you answer the
So
questions.
we got 40 seconds.
40 seconds going from 3, 2, 1, go.
Am I male?
Yes.
Footballer?
Yes.
Yes. Premier League?
Yes. Well, no, not
No.
anymore.
So Serie A?
No.
Nope.
La Liga?
Yep.
Currently playing in La Liga?
Yes.
Yeah.
Luis Suarez?
No.
Barcelona?
No.
Gareth Bale?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey.
With 20 seconds left.
Let's go.
Nice.
I like this game. I could play. I want to do. Let's do one more round of it. I'm gonna.
I got so stitched up with a retired boxer I've heard of about 3
I know, mate.
times.
You might have gotten Sadio Mane if you didn't check. I thought AJ was too obvious because that would be like the first boxer that you think of.
Yeah.
And then I was
the only
thinking,
boxer
like,
I think of. I was getting like Eddie Hearn.
How far back can I go? Dino, do you have one that we could do for Greg, or do you want me to crack one more out?
I'll send you one now if it goes
Okay.
through.
All right.
Give me like an obscure Albanian long jump from the 1960s.
Yeah. It'd be like, have you sent it through?
Yep.
All right, I'm just waiting on it coming through. It's definitely like a miss. Oh, wait. Maybe you sent it in the... Okay, yeah, I've got it.
Yeah.
All right, Greg, make sure you don't check anything.
No.
Okay, so I'll get the 40 seconds up.
Right.
And you can play along at home, obviously. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, male,
Yes.
Yeah.
footballer,
No.
combat sport.
No.
Is it at the Olympics?
No.
No.
Golf.
No.
No.
Right. Okay. What isn't at the Olympics? Fuck. Everything's at the Olympics. What isn't at the Olympics? Snooker player.
No.
Ronnie O'Sullivan.
No, that's quality.
What sport? They're all at the Olympics. How's that make any sense? What's going on? Is this really dead obvious?
Time.
Okay, right, hang on. What sport isn't at the Olympics but isn't? Is it?
How do we? What can we say that it's not too obvious? That's the thing.
Is it like darts?
No, it's a very global sport.
Yeah, that's probably what I was going to say.
A very global sport, so anyone can play it. It's transferable. Cricket.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily anyone can play it or it's like that, but like it competes all over the world.
Compete all over the world
in a single season.
A single season.
Yes.
F1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Good, because I'd have been fucked otherwise if it wasn't Lewis Hamilton. The one in the blue car.
So
I was going to give you someone like Michael Schumacher, but
yeah, he's got a documentary coming out, I think, soon on Netflix.
Yeah,
that looks really class.
For sure. So, Greg, do you want to pick one for Dino, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll get one.
You got one? All right, ping it to me, and then I'll get the timer up.
I'm not looking.
Yeah, you're good. Right, just waiting for that to come through. Oh, nice one. Yeah, that's a good one. Right, so timer.
I'll sort the timer. You answer the questions.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, say go.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Male am I male?
Yes.
Okay. In a team sport?
Yes.
Football?
No.
Rugby?
No.
Cricket?
No.
Team sport? What? Am I in the Olympics?
Yeah, it is played at the Olympics. Yeah.
It is. Okay. It's not baseball, is it?
No.
Okay, didn't think so. I have a mind blank. Jeez. Am I English?
Time's
No.
up.
Yeah, time's up. No, you're not English.
Think your side of the pond, sports.
US. Oh, basketball.
Yeah.
Right.
MJ.
No.
LeBron.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hard because there are some sports that you just don't instantly come to mind.
It's hard to categorize all of them, but whittle them down quick enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
If you say, are they Olympics? It's like, oh, brilliant. That's like every sport apart from one.
I think you need
two.
to like have practice at it to then know the sports that you can reel off straight away. But
yeah,
if you two sort out one more, and we'll do last one for me, and then
one for Dan,
and then we'll crack on. You can go obscure if you need.
Oh yeah, I got one.
All right.
It's about to be a stitch up, yeah.
What do you think of that one?
Cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, am I male?
Yes.
UK sport?
Yep.
Am I English?
Yes.
Am I a footballer?
No.
Rugby player?
No.
Athletics?
No.
Am I played at the Olympics?
No. Stick with football. Sorry, I kind of tripped you up.
What? So he's a footballer. Am I retired?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, very much so.
I'm dead. Is it Bobby Moore?
So close.
Jeff Hurst. What's so?
Oh my god!
What? Gordon Banks?
No.
Is he in the 1966 World Cup team?
No. Management.
Alf Ramsey?
No.
Bobby Robson?
Yeah.
Bobby Robson.
Bobby Robson, yeah.
Nice. Damn it!
Sorry,
threw me off with all of those. Like those are the worst answers in the world.
Very much.
Is he a footballer? No.
Yeah. Well, because I knew that as soon as I said that, you'd think any other sport, but it's difficult, isn't it? Okay, right.
Nice.
That's a fun game.
Yeah.
We're brilliant at it.
Okay.
That was quality.
All right, nice one.
Quality.
Yeah, I'm going to try and clip some of those up and put them on TikTok. So if you're here via TikTok, that was that.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe and on to the rest of the show. So, yeah, like we say, we haven't done a podcast since England played Scotland at the Euros. So I think before we go on to the transfer window stuff, I guess 2 months on or whatever is a pretty good time to sort of debrief from the Euros. And I think I'll quickly go first and say I found the Euros was a very exhausting experience. And by the time it finished and we lost in that final, and it just felt like a very dark night, and there was all the shit that went on at Wembley with all the fans and the people breaking into the stadium and just the booing of the anthems, and just everything kind of ended on a very sour note, I thought. And for that reason, I'm not overly interested in this international break that we're currently in, because I still feel like I need a bit of a break from international football. It just felt very crushing the way that it all kind of ended, even though it was quite obvious that maybe it was going to go that way. But yeah, I'd be interested to know particularly your thoughts, Greg, on the end of that Euros and how it's sort of panned out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, everyone will have known that I was very, very anti-Southgate. And so for me, it was I flip-flopped a lot during the Euros because, you're in the heat at the moment. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And I think it's exactly what you're saying about the international break currently. You can't escape the fact that the football we play isn't particularly attractive, and it wasn't brilliant. And that final sort of highlighted the almost inexperience of these players. Yes, of course, they've won things with their clubs and done this, but as a group together, and as Southgate as a manager, you know, that final you can dissect. We won't get into it now, I suppose, but you can dissect moments there that he got wrong or we got wrong. the positive way of looking at that is that we have Qatar in now only 16 months away, something like that. And these group of players, they seem to have got stronger with each other. They seem to have really bonded with each other. And as you say, they've gone through these experiences. And, Saka, Grealish, a lot of these players, Rashford, Sancho, they got a lot of grief after, of course. And I think that has bonded them all together. And Southgate looks like he's going nowhere. So it's positive. As you say, we can reflect on it now a few months later. We can take a positive spin on it. It's just in the moment, it's hard, man. It's definitely hard, especially given how we started that game.
I mean, I think so. I think maybe even the game aside and the Southgate, is he good, is he bad argument, and all that aside, I just think, and I don't know whether it's a now thing, and in 2, 3, 4, 10 years time, whatever, I will look back and think, oh, what a great tournament that was. What a fantastic summer of football that was. Because at the moment, I really don't look back, even though it's in very recent history, I don't look back and think that was a cracking... I loved watching England at that tournament because I really didn't, and that was always my fear from day one. Or game one when we beat who did we beat 1-0 in the opener? Croatia. That was always my analysis or my fear, is that then they were not memorable games. And I know we had the Germany game, which was probably the highlight, and will go down as the highlight, and then the Denmark game to some extent as well.
Ukraine, nice couple of goals.
Yeah. But I still just think the way it ended has just left a bit of a sour taste, and I think it is great that we've got just over a year basically until the next tournament, and we've got a chance to rewrite some of those wrongs, or to go. I mean, the only thing is, going up or improving is so difficult now, because you literally winning the tournament is the only way that we can improve. And I think that is probably, it reminds me a little bit of my experience as a Fulham fan over the last 5 or 6 years, where going up, it's that Icarus thing, it's flying too close to the sun, and you're going up into the Premier League and then realizing that actually, like, it's just heartbreak at the top, basically, and then you're coming back down. And it felt a little bit like that, reaching the final, and then it was suddenly like, you're close to this, but you're not having it this time. And I think that as a maybe that's just something that football fans sort of just grow to love, that kind of constant rejection and heartbreak and pain. But I certainly just think it's it's a tough pill to swallow year after year, and there's a little part of, like, my love for football, I think, dies every time a sort of Icarus moment happens in football with one of the teams that I support. But like I say, the World Cup in Qatar, I think, is human rights issues aside, is going to be a fantastic tournament, and it's going to be weird to have a tournament played just before Christmas. But Dino, your thoughts on how the Euros went and sort of the way that it played out for England?
I had a different experience to everybody being in the US. So, like, I enjoyed watching the final itself, but like before that, everything was like in the house watching it, like streaming it, and then it was just like, it was cool, it was all right. But then actually going to a bar and seeing a load of like English fans all together, it brought back that nostalgia of, like being at school, being out in the pub with mates, watching the football. It brought that back, and that I really missed that, if I'm being honest. And yeah, after, like during the game, it's when Shaw scored, it was buzzing. Like everybody in the pub was mental, as you'd expect. And then after that, as soon as as soon as Italy equalized and then it went to penalties, nobody was confident. The whole pub went flat, and it was just like, oh man, are we really going to go through this again? Is it going to be the same old story, or are they going to break this duck and win the tournament? And then it is what it is.
One of the worst moments was when it was like when someone like escapes in a film and then is immediately captured. You have a moment of like, oh, they got away. It was when Pickford saved Jorginho's penalty, and it was like this moment of, oh my god, like this guy's just done the unthinkable. Although obviously Jan Sommer saved Jorginho penalty, I think yesterday, but that penalty save happened, and it was like, oh my days, like we're still in this. And then just immediately Saka obviously had his effort saved by Donnarumma, and I think it was just a hard way to end it, because it was like this quick jolt up and then just a massive crash down just at the end. Like it would have been better to just slowly slope out of it, like, and just miss all of our penalties, or if Jorginho, we expected to lose it on Jorginho's penalty, and it would have just been a very smooth, just okay, we've lost. Whereas it was this jolt up and then a big crash with the Saka penalty. So, it's not easy being a football fan, but I guess only one team can win any given tournament or league. So, we shouldn't become, I guess, too entitled, thinking that that England should or deserve to win any tournament. It's certainly, Italy were deserving winners and a fantastic team. And I think they just set a record of, correct me if I'm wrong, of 36 games unbeaten, which is a men's international record for any team in history, which proves that, they are worthy European champions. And I think
there's no shame in losing to them.
Yeah, I could see them carrying on that run all the way up to Qatar as well.
Well, it helps when you're playing teams like Andorra and
San Marino.
Not to get into the nitty gritty of it, but
yeah. Okay, so park the Euros. Another 3 years until the next Euro tournament. Like we said, Qatar next year. The craziest transfer window of recent history, I think. Just absolute mad moves all over the place. Messi, Ronaldo, both moving clubs. Obviously, PSG picked up Donnarumma, Ramos, Hakimi, Wijnaldum. A long list of players went there. We had people moving around all over Europe. Griezmann going from, I think he's on loan back at Atleti. Barcelona just generally in a lot of trouble. Poor Aguero obviously transferred there to fulfill his childhood dream, or his young player dream of playing with Leo Messi, only to be left with Martin Braithwaite and Luke de Jong as his strike partners, if he ever gets fit and off of Twitch. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Premier League, and particularly, I guess, the Spurs and Chelsea transfer windows in this segment. Off the top of the segment here, who do you two think had a better transfer window, Chelsea or Spurs? And then we'll discuss.
I mean, it's got to be Chelsea, isn't it? But I think it's all relative in terms. We're at this point where we're aiming for different targets. I mean, if Chelsea go on to win the Premier League, they've had a brilliant transfer window. If they fall short of it, do they? But we're just sort of sitting pretty, I suppose.
Dino, agree?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, as soon as we signed Lukaku, it was like, you have to win the league now. And then, I don't want to make any excuses, but all of a sudden Ronaldo went to United, and it seems like they're the favourites now. But who knows? But yeah,
I think Ollie said that they're favourites, didn't he, this morning?
He's actually said that now,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, he said he expects his team to challenge for the league now.
Okay.
That Ronaldo's there.
Yeah. But yeah, it was a crazy transfer window. And getting Lukaku is like, he's perfect for our team. Perfect. Like that back to goal striker who can hold up the ball, who can pick up, who can just take his chances. Like that's the one thing I would say Tammy couldn't do enough of. Like he scored some banging goals, and I think he's a quality player. Quality player. It's just he didn't. We needed more 8 out of 10 games, 9 out of 10 games, as opposed to like a few goals here and there, and not being able to like link up play more. But yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing to have him back. He showed how much he's loved the club. Like the little clips from when he was at Anderlecht, and he said something yesterday about he was in a hole at United, and then Inter came and took him out of it, and he didn't want to leave Inter until he figured out that Chelsea was serious. And then with the third bid for like 110 mil euros, he said, "Yeah, I need to go because it's a team that I love." And I respect that.
I mean, yeah, there's a huge value in having a player that basically supports a club or that wants to play for a club is massive. And I think, you know, United will see some of that. Hopefully United will see some of that boost in Ronaldo's performance, I think, when he starts playing. But you've kind of got a situation now where Chelsea have got Lukaku, who's 100 million plus. Spurs, in a way, have kind of signed, or by keeping Kane, that's the equivalent of signing a £100 million man, because you know, they were about to play a season without him in the team. So kind of the way that panned out is like signing Harry Kane for at least until January. And then you've got Ronaldo at United. City don't really have that £100 million front man, but they've got De Bruyne, who's easily 100 million plus, sort of sat behind, and they've got quite a few players that probably push the 80-90 mark as well. And then Liverpool, of course, have got Salah, who you probably would value at 100, at least if he was to be bought or to go somewhere. And then, yeah, maybe, you know, a higher flying Arsenal would have had Aubameyang, also worth that sort of money. But let's probably save Boothie and John Miller's blushes and just not even go there with Arsenal, because that's a whole nother podcast in itself. But you certainly got a very good Premier League now, and every team has those star players. It feels a bit like the NFL or the NBA or NHL, like American sports, where you have a franchise name at the top and then just good players around them. But every team kind of has that now. And I think because Chelsea, before Lukaku, was just a very good, solid team. But you would be like, oh, who's Chelsea's best player? Oh, it's N'Golo Kante. And he's not really like an international name. If you don't know football, or if you don't really like football or know football, you wouldn't necessarily like know or care who Kante is. But I feel like Lukaku is one of those big names, and I think it puts Chelsea in such a strong position. So yeah, I certainly think they're big challenges for the league this year. But I can't call it at this point who's going to win the league. But yes, Greg, can Spurs challenge with Nuno? Manager of the month? Did he win Manager of the Month or not?
It's been nominated, and incredibly, Eric Dyer's been nominated.
What, for Player of the Month?
Player of the Month, yeah, which is incredible. If you need that, I mean, already he deserves Manager of the Month for Eric Dyer being in that conversation. But our transfer window is a really funny one. People are really divided on it, but I think if you break it down properly, it's easy this transfer window to compare it to Ronaldo to United, Grealish to City. But
Grealish to City, we didn't even mention that. Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. That's how mental the season, the transfer window's been. But if you compare it with our goals that we had coming out of the last season, we had a lot of deadwoods on high wages. Kane's future was uncertain. We had one of the oldest squads in the league, and we relied too heavily on Son and Kane for the goals. If you look at what we've achieved, we've got rid of loads of the deadwood. We've only got one player over 30 now. we've saved. I think it was Lloris.
Okay.
And if you look at the wages that I think we're saving like £40 million a year on like the wages that we've got rid of these players. So, and Kane's staying, of course. So I think as a transfer window goes, it's been pretty successful for what we want. And I think Paratici has been incredible in that. The new director of football coming in. So I think, in conclusion, we're going to win the league in 2026 because these players that we've brought in, Brian Hill looks like an absolute baller. Galini, he's still young for a goalkeeper, especially. Emerson Royale is going to be class. We need that at right back. Romero's class if ever he gets out of the Brazilian prison cell he's currently in. But I think that you need to look at it in perspective of where we were last season, where it could have gone. Because I've said this on the podcast, Tottenham are on a knife's edge at the moment. We could go one way or another very quickly, and it's a long way down. So keeping Kane is huge. Getting rid of those players and having a little bit more of what feels like a direction at the moment feels good. It's the start of a rebuild, but you got to start somewhere.
I agree with the signings have been really good. The new kind of vibe and policy there seems to be quite good as well with recruitment. But on a slightly different note, it's still sort of Spurs related. I watched a Gareth Bale highlights reel thing earlier, like on YouTube. It just popped up on my homepage, and it was like, I think it's just called like Gareth Bale in his prime was unreal. And honestly, like that guy, I think, just ridiculous, like unplayable in that peak. His first couple of years at Real, his last 2 years, I think, at Spurs. If you had the conversation of the best ever British player, and you take each player, because obviously the thing is, people go, oh well, Bale, did he do it for 20 years like Ryan Giggs did or whatever, or was he great over a great period of time? But if you take talent at their absolute peak, and no matter, like, even if that was for like 3 games or like a season, that's probably the easier way to do it. Actually, you take their best ever season, and then you say who was the best British player of all time. I think it probably is Gareth Bale, or he's at least in the top 3.
I think he's
and the only other ones I can think
export.
Yeah,
easily.
So you think he's the best performer overseas?
Yeah, I think 100%. I mean, he's won them. He scored crucial goals in 2 Champions League finals, and they all still hate him over there.
Yeah,
I think he's class. It's such a shame that I think that he's been able to hide behind all the Kane debacle, and that we didn't ever really get a proper goodbye from him.
Yeah,
he never really played. He never played in front of a full stadium.
You're coming at the argument from a very bitter angle.
But I am. I accept it completely.
He didn't say goodbye, so he can't be the best player ever.
No, I'm agreeing. No, I think he is, and I think it's such a shame, because there was talk of when he did sign that he was. I think there was a clause in there that he could extend it for a year and then he'd be a free agent. And it's just such a shame. And the way he talks about Spurs now and towards the end of the season as well, it seems like we were a little bit of a therapy session for him, rather than he knows that we love him, and to watch him just play, he doesn't even have to be scoring, just him playing in a Spurs shirt is incredible. And I don't think that love's reciprocated in truth. I think that he needed us for a certain purpose, and he's getting a little bit more game time at Real at the moment. I think.
Yeah, he's starting.
So it is a real shame with how that ended, and we didn't really replace him with anyone. That is the only problem I would say about it. To go back to the transfer window, we shored up our defense, which is really good, but we're still lacking that creativity. And Dele Alli might come good. He might. There's some flickers in there. Harry Winks needs to just go. He just needs to release himself. He needs to talk to Sergio Aurier and see how he released himself from his own contract and do that. Ndombele can't be asked. That is a problem that we have, and we need that. And I don't know. I am a little bit bitter that Bale left without saying anything. But
I think I guess he got pretty lucky with Ancelotti coming in and
Zidane
thinking, Zidane was his ultimate enemy. He's certainly nowhere near the player he was, but he scored a hat trick for for Wales yesterday against Belarus, a game played in neutral venue. So
and regardless of it's Gareth Bale. I mean, you got Steven Bergwijn on the right. No defenders going, oh, we need to be on him.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale's coming at you, like, oh, and then it frees up a bit of space for Son. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even in that dynamic, he's useful to us.
Yeah. Who are the other players, Dino, that you might consider in the greatest at their peak British player of all time? I think Rooney's in that conversation.
Rooney. Yeah, Rooney's got to be in there.
Shearer,
yeah. But like you would probably, I feel like Bale was a lot closer to what a typical, like, if you think of the list of players that people talk about all the time as the best players ever, your Messi, Pele, Ronaldo, Maradona, Cruyff. Like, I feel like Bale was closer to them. Bale's the English player that's gotten closest to that kind of level of like majesty. Whereas I feel like someone like Shearer is not in that conversation for me. Like, brilliant goal scorer, powerful player, brilliant header of the ball, could volley the ball, all of that stuff, but he's not majestic. You'd never say, oh, Alan Shearer was majestic. Whereas I feel like Bale for a couple of years was just like on another level. I think Suarez for me, well, he's obviously not English, but Suarez is at that level where it's just like they're unplayable. They're on a different everything to like most of the players in the league. So I don't think there's too many. I think Rooney within my lifetime was there. Beckham certainly was never majestic. Just a very, very solid player, good technical player. But his best games, he just ran his heart out. The best. It was like that Greece game at Old Trafford that got us to the qualified for the World Cup, wasn't it? When he scored the free kick at the end, I think he ran like 12k, 14k that game, but it's not the same. Zidane, majestic. I just think Bale, there's not many names, and I know that I'm discounting. Probably George Best is probably the main contender, I would think, because Best was very much considered as that kind of majestic level player. But yeah, maybe we need Tom and Neil and Johnny Mills and that to weigh in on this conversation, and it's one that we can bring up on another pod. But I just think Bale was unreal, absolutely unreal, and it's so hard when players get old, and I think that's why Zidane did the right thing at retiring in 2006 when he was more or less still an absolute baller. And he was still dominating games. And he's lucky in some ways that his position sort of allowed him to dictate games from the middle at 35 or whatever he was in 2006. But retiring at the top is just a dream.
Yeah.
If you can retire as the best player in a World Cup, then, that's such a solid legacy. And I think, I wonder if Messi... If Argentina were to win the World Cup in Qatar, the funny thing is no one can really retire after the World Cup because they still got to play out the football season after. Yeah, but I do wonder if Messi or Ronaldo, were they to win the World Cup with either of their nations, would just park it and just go out as world champion.
I think Messi would. I think Messi came out with a interview a couple of days ago, didn't he, saying that Ronaldo is the best player in the world because at 36 he's still doing this, and he said I'm not. He said I'm not going to be doing that. So I think, and he's 34, isn't he? So I'm like, bro, that's not a lot of time.
Yeah, Ronaldo. I'm very excited to see Ronaldo in the Premier League because everyone's always, said that he left the Premier League at quite a young age and he was never physically tested against in a Premier League season after the age of 25, or must have been about 25 when he left United, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it was 9 years ago, so maybe he's a bit older, 26. But yeah, him coming back to the Premier League in the still ridiculous condition that he's in physically is going to be very interesting to see how he gets on. I do wonder how teams will treat him in the Premier League as well, because he's on such a pedestal. Like if you're, I don't know, the ones that come to mind is like Ben Mee, James Tarkowski, just name some Premier League defenders, Livramento at South. Any defender of a certain age is going to think this guy is an absolute god on a football pitch. So how do you motivate yourself to? And I'm sure there's just a switch probably in a lot of footballers' heads where they can just turn it on and for that 90 minutes that's not a idol, that's not a greatest player of all time, it's not the GOAT, it's just another player on the pitch and I've got to try and get in their head. But there'll be so many teams.
You have the older professionals who would, help with that.
Yeah.
Be focused and not shy away with challenges and make sure that you're on point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think it's going to be very, very interesting though. Like wherever United, every game United play, not that it isn't already, but it's going to be sold out. Every fan is going to be waiting to see Ronaldo. Like we're seeing Ronaldo, we're seeing potentially the best player of all time, one of the best players of all time. That atmosphere, that change, I just think it changes the dynamic quite a lot. But yeah, I'm so excited about it. We got, I think the first, I think he should be playing this week, right? You go, Dino.
It's very interesting what you're saying about this, because I don't know if you saw Messi's first game for PSG when he came on, and it was away at Reims, I think.
Reims.
And the whole stadium was cheering for him.
Yep.
And he didn't do much. And then after the game, like the opponents were taking pictures with him and getting their family to take a picture with him. So it's very interesting how, I don't think we'll see the same thing for sure, because it's a different mentality when it comes to football with the English generation. But like it's funny that you mentioned that, and I think he left at a time where it was still a bit brute force-ish, with like he still had like a couple of the old school players in defense, but now everything's changing, everything's more technical, everything's quicker. Like you don't have many teams like Burnley and Stoke, so to speak, whereas back in the day you had Bolton, you had even to a certain extent you had Arsenal, because they still had like Campbell and Adams, etc. So I don't know if it will be more suited for him now, especially coming back from Syria. But it's going to be crazy just to see him play. Even though I don't support United, that kid in me is like excited to see him back there.
Yeah.
Because that's when growing up I used to see like him against Ashley Cole or him against other players, you know what I mean? And it's pretty cool to see him back.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of like things that will be very, very interesting with it. Like I say, the crowd thing and the players thing already, but also I just think the way that he plays with the Man. So one, can he bring the performances of the other United players up? So players like Greenwood, players like Rashford, Sancho, the younger players, even Luke Shaw sort of that middle age of a footballer, where they're not really a young footballer, but they're not quite a sort of seasoned pro yet. But can he bring their games up, or will they step up to kind of play for him? How much is he going to expect people to play for him and change their game for him, which is classically what a lot of clubs have to do. They play the Ronaldo style of football, and it's his thing. And then the other thing that I think is most interesting is, how does Ronaldo at United affect Bruno Fernandez? Because those two so far cannot play together. They've been awful for Portugal. We saw Portugal's game against Republic of Ireland. They both started. Ireland were winning until like the 89th minute. I think Fernandez ended up going off about 60 minutes into the game. Ronaldo stayed on for the whole game. They eventually win it 2-1 with 2 headers from Ronaldo late in the game. Fast forward 2 days, and I think they played Qatar, and go and get the Qatar. He didn't. I think Ronaldo then left the squad to then go and sort of rest and recuperate for getting ready for the Premier League season, and which there is a lot of that kind of management of his body, I guess, at this point in his career, where he doesn't necessarily play and he doesn't play any game that he's not 100% needed for. And then I think Fernandez played that game, and they won 3-1 or something like that. So at Portugal, there seems to be this thing of it's either Ronaldo or Fernandez, and you can't have both of them together because they are both this kind of, they've got this main character complex. So how Ollie manages that, I don't know. Is it probably in the end a good thing for Portugal, because you might have a situation where they're forced to learn to kind of coexist and to be good together, because they're generational talents, really. I mean, Ronaldo certainly is. He's a half-century talent or whatever. But Fernandez is ultimately the best current Portuguese player, the best Portuguese player of that age. And yeah, whether they play together, or is it going to be detrimental to Fernandez, who's been, incredible for Man United over the season and a half that he's played there. So yeah, there is that risk, I think, for United that although in signing one of the greatest players of all time, they might have also kind of severely handicapped their current star, who's going to have to very much take a back seat. And he's not going to take penalties. He's probably not going to get many free kicks if Ronaldo's on the pitch. So, I mean, I don't know. Do you guys think they'll be all right? Do you think they'll play together well, or do you think Ronaldo could be a ticking kind of time bomb, Trojan horse sort of a player in that team that sort of messes things up? Dino, I guess.
I think it just depends on how he or where he plays, and what he wants to do. I don't think Ollie is a person who will be like, you have to do this, you have to do this. And I think as long as Fernandez and Ronaldo can get things moving on the training ground, they should be fine. At least they'll be playing or training with each other every day, as opposed to, boot camps for like a couple of weeks or so. And they're professional enough to make it work.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm not sure who the Portugal manager is or how tactically versed he is, but
I want to say it's Fernando Santos, but I don't know if that's his name. I'll check it in the meantime.
I think watching Portugal play, they weren't great. I don't think they didn't do anything that made me think, oh, they actually know what they're doing, because some of their games were like literally get it to like the bigger players and hope something happens. I mean, Ronaldo Sanchez still plays for them, and I know he had a good season in France, but come on.
Is that Royston? Just reminds me of Royston Drenthe.
Yeah.
Had that amazing breakout early on in his career.
Yep. Made
it to the national team. Signed because Sanchez went to Bayern and Drenthe went to Real Madrid. Very similar career paths, and then just kind of flopped. But yeah, obviously Sanchez is back in the frame.
Yeah, and it's just I think they'll be fine. I think they can make it work.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're completely right about the managerial side of it, and I'm not sure. From various Portuguese friends, I've heard that Fernando Santos is incredibly kind of backwards as a manager with such incredible talent in his team, which is not particularly unlike what we've got at England, really. And that's, I think, one of our gripes with England is that you have this fantastic squad, but pragmatism kind of takes centre stage, and it becomes a very much like let's not lose rather than let's go out and win in style, which is probably just the way it is now. That is international football, and just have to be old enough to accept that and not have a little kid's mentality of I want to see my team play well, which is obviously what we're not allowed to do these days. But yeah, Greg, what are you thinking? Ronaldo to United, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
I think he's exactly what... I mean, when I saw it sort of rumoured, I was like, I don't really know if that's sort of necessary. But it would be those moments that United need against City, against Chelsea. Mm-hmm. They need those moments to get to the top of that table. And Ronaldo is that player. I think that he won't be the player to lead the line and score every goal that they score, but he'll get that 1-2-1, 1-0, those little things. I mean, if you put him in that Europa League game, they win that within like 90 minutes. You know, it's that kind of thing. And yeah, he'll be crucial in the Champions League, even just the dressing room. Like we say, with some of those younger players or those players, Ronaldo's the man to be like, we got this. All right, chill. So I think he's going to be crucial. And I only doubt Ollie. I mean, I think that United have got a great team. I don't see... Ollie doesn't threaten me in any way. I don't look at him and think managerially, yeah, he's sound. He's got this. I feel like he's got a great squad and he's had so much investment put behind him. If this season is another one empty-handed, you've got to start asking questions, not throw load more money at it. So it's real... This is a real test.
Yeah, I think the fact that it feels like Cavani's not going to get that many minutes this year as well is crazy at this point. I struggle to see how... I mean, has Ronaldo or can Ronaldo play a wide role? I know he sort of tends to just play centre forward these days, but I feel like...
It's a lot more demanding, I suppose, physically.
I think Cavani can play out on the left a bit more, but Cavani was so good last season, and I think, you know, United could easily start him in games, but maybe they're just going to have him as a super sub, and what a super sub to have. I mean, the idea that you might have Cavani as a sort of a Carabao Cup striker this year is ominous, but yeah, I think we'll have a much more rounded idea of this Ronaldo situation after the Newcastle game, if he plays on Saturday. I hope that they don't do the classic, like, give someone their debut off the bench. I mean,
they will.
Second debut, I guess, but you know, I hope it's not Ronaldo's on the bench. I want to see him start the game. But you know, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to play. I just feel like Ronaldo's not the kind of guy that would want to have his debut off the bench.
Oh, of course.
He's just going to want to play every minute.
Yeah.
And that will be the other interesting thing, is because he's very much been a record chaser everywhere he's gone since United. At United, he was got a slow burner. His first few seasons, he was developing as a player, developing physically, mentally, all of that stuff, and he didn't obviously score that many goals in his early years. As soon as he went to Madrid, I mean, his last couple of seasons at United, I think didn't he get 30 goals in one of the seasons or something unreal thing he did. But once he got to Madrid, that was record-breaking Ronaldo, and that was suddenly like, I have to be the top scorer in the league, top scorer on my team, top scorer in tournaments, in Champions League, everything. Are we going to get that mental version of Ronaldo at United as well? And can he rein that in and be like, okay, I will just be a team player, be the experienced guy? I can't really imagine him putting an arm around a player, and saying, it's all right, mate, you know, we'll be good. I don't think he's that sort of leader. I think he's the, why don't you fucking pass it to me, Sancho kind of guy. And I think it would just be very, very interesting. I think he's got a Zlatan kind of thing about him in that sense, where Zlatan always brings the dressing room up around him because the standard is just so high that if you don't meet that standard, then get out the dressing room. So how that's managed, I don't know, but I'm very excited for the Premier League to kick back off, and I guess we could go through a few of the fixtures that are coming up on Saturday. and make our BTF predictions. Saturday starts with a 12:30 game between Crystal Palace and Greg's very own Tottenham Hotspur. Dino, what's the score in this one?
I think Tottenham will win. 2-0.
2-0 away at Palace. It's a hard game. Greg, are you that confident?
It'll be another 1-0.
That's probably more likely. I'm agreeing with you.
38+ goal difference by the end of the season.
I'm agreeing with you on that one. And then next up, we've got a bottom of the table clash between Arsenal, 20th place, and Norwich in 19th. How does that one go?
Oh man!
Do Arsenal smash Norwich? You would think that they have to.
They have to. They just have to.
For everyone involved in the club, that has to be a 4-0 Arsenal. But do they do it?
I can see it so easily being like a 1-1 or something.
Yeah.
Like easily. I don't know. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I think this is where they'll pick up. They'll get 2-1. They'll have a little scare, but I reckon that they'll... Because they should. That's me saying they should. I don't know. They have to.
Dino?
Just for Arsenal, 3-1.
Yeah, I think 4-0. I think they show up and show off. I'm looking forward to seeing Odegaard get kind of a leading role in that team this year, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. We have a big clash at 3:00, which is Leicester against Manchester City. I'll throw my prediction out there. I think it's a 2-1 to City. But I do think Leicester are good, but I think City have just got enough quality this year, more than enough quality. Greg?
I'll go 2-0 Man City.
And Dino?
I'll change it up. I'll say 2-1 to Leicester.
It's going 2-1 Leicester. Potentially Cristiano Ronaldo's debut, as spoken about before, at Old Trafford. Against Newcastle, assuming that he starts, Dino, what's the score in that game going to be?
I think it'll be a spanking.
You reckon?
4-0 to United, Manchester United.
I mean, that stadium's going to be buzzing. Yeah, United is a bit open there. The stadium's going to be rocking, I would think, if he does start. Greg, are you agreeing with that? United?
I think I think it'll be 3-0 Manchester United, and I don't think Ronaldo will score, but he'll have a key pass or something. Like, he won't get the assist. He'll have, like, in the build-up, it'll be analysed all over. He'll be like, that pass that he did to this one, and then it went to there, and then there. I reckon it'll be that kind of deal.
I just don't see it. I just don't see him as a guy that passes the ball to someone that can then score. I just don't think that's in his DNA anymore to like assist the goal.
Yeah.
Like if he's in a position close enough to goal where he could probably either shoot or pass it back to someone who then will get him in a better position. I can't imagine him getting too many assists like that. But I reckon what it will be is how the assist will work is he'll have a shot from the side and the goalie will save it, and then Greenwood will follow it in.
Yeah, it'll be Fernandez. It'll be Fernandez.
Yeah,
he'll get so many tap-ins.
And then he'll sulk.
Yeah,
because he's so annoyed that Fernandez has got the goal. All right, then Chelsea play Aston Villa. That's a 5:30 game. Tough Aston Villa team to play against. This again, whether Emi Buendia is out of his Brazilian jail cell by then, but Lukaku at home, does he score a brace?
Yeah, man, for sure. 2-0.
2-0, both goals Lukaku. Greg, you agreeing with the Chelsea win there against Villa?
Yeah, I think 2-0 is a good shout.
Yeah, all right, we'll go 3-2-0s. And then the final prediction from us is the 4:30 Super Sunday game between Bielsa's Leeds United and Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool. I will go first on this one. I actually think, wasn't this a cracker last season? It was like 4-3 or 4-3.
4-3, yeah.
I think we get goals again, and I'm going to go with a 5-2 to Liverpool. 7-goal thriller. Dino?
4-1 to Liverpool.
4-1 to Liverpool. And Greg?
I reckon 3-2 Liverpool.
3-2. Okay, so back the over 4.5. As we've all said that there'll be goals in that game. And yeah, so promises to be a fantastic weekend of Premier League football. And we've also got, I think Fulham are away this weekend. Yeah, we're away at Blackpool, which should be a routine win.
El Clasico.
Yeah, that's it. El Clasico. But yeah, that brings to an end this episode of the Back to Football podcast. We should be back on a weekly basis now that the Premier League is back in full flow and there's stuff to be discussed every week, and it certainly promises to be one of the best Premier League seasons in recent history, or in the entire history of the Premier League, if you look at the talent that is actually on the table. And then, of course, that's not even talking about the Champions League, which, again, we'll cover in an upcoming episode in some detail, because the Champions League this year is ridiculous.
And the Europa Conference League.
Oh, my days, the Conference League. It's where it's at. It's where it's at. So that will be coming up in a later episode. And all that leaves me is to say thank you to John Aldino and Greg for today's poddy. And boys, enjoy your week. And yeah, we'll see you all on the next one. Thanks for listening.
Catch you later.
Bye-bye.